Welcome, rational thinkers and champions of evidence-based reasoning, to the Free of Faith podcast. This is the place where we dare to peel back the comforting but opaque layers of faith-based claims and expose their logical shortcomings. Today's question is a heartfelt one. Is the peace and joy I feel really from the Christian God, or could something else be going on? Let's start with a familiar scene. You're standing in a sanctuary, arms raised, music swelling, and lights gently dimmed. The people around you are swaying, some crying, some singing. You feel an immense wave of peace and joy wash over you. And in that moment, it feels like heaven has reached down and enveloped you in a divine embrace. You might think, surely this feeling proves God is real. But hold on. Let's take a closer look. Imagine a young Muslim girl, barefoot on the carpet of a grand mosque, listening to the gentle cadence of the Quran recited overhead. She is surrounded by family and enveloped in ritual. Her heart fills with joy and calm. Or consider Mormon missionaries in prayer. Their chests burn with certainty, a sensation Mormons call a burning in the bosom. Their feelings confirm that the Book of Mormon is true. These are not fringe experiences. They are common across cultures and faiths. Feelings of profound joy, peace, and certainty are consistently reported in Hindu temples, Buddhist monasteries, and even at secular events like music festivals or athletic championships. In fact, the emotional highs produced at a Coldplay concert or a national championship victory can closely mirror those of a revival meeting. So, if Christians, Muslims, Hindus, and even non-believers can all feel this kind of emotional uplift, how do we determine whether any of it is truly divine? Emotions, by their nature, are slippery. They can be powerful, yes, but they are also deeply vulnerable to context, suggestion, and manipulation. And religious services and ceremonies are engineered for maximum emotions. Through lighting, music, community reinforcement, testimonies, and rhythmic chanting, an ineffable euphoria is generated. You'll often find in religious settings intense, evocative music and synchronized movements such as clapping, kneeling, and swaying to create a sense of unity and shared purpose. Testimonies of perceived divine guidance and support stir up tears and shouts of praise, activating our limbic systems. In these environments, neuroscience shows that levels of bonding hormones surge. We feel wanted, loved, and certain. But none of this requires a supernatural explanation. Take away the music and the group energy, the emotional build-up, and the peace that passes all understanding often drifts away. The elation requires weekly recharging. That is highly relevant if we're trying to assess whether this joy is rooted in truth or merely in circumstance. Consider the emotional bond formed between you and your basketball team members after a thrilling win. The joy, unity, and near spiritual connection you feel with your teammates is intense. But is it proof of divine presence or of the deep emotional impact communal achievement can have on the human psyche? Our minds equate strong emotions with truth, even when no actual truth is present. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that the peace and joy are leading us astray. However, it does mean we need to ask more profound questions about the nature of our reality, independent of the emotions our surroundings may evoke. In a nutshell, if emotional highs can be replicated across all religions and even secular settings, then they can't serve as valid indicators of truth. To say, "I feel peace, so it must be true," is like saying, "I feel lucky, so I must be right." It doesn't follow. If a feeling of peace is merely incomprehensible, that doesn't mean it's from a spiritual realm. The moment we slap the "God did it" label on an unexpected, profound emotion, we stop exploring natural explanations that may be the actual cause. So what happens when we base our belief system on inexplicable emotional states? We risk reinforcing a bubble one that filters out challenging questions and locks us into a loop of confirmation bias. If a belief promises joy, and we feel joy, we tend to assume the belief must be true. But that's circular reasoning. Emotions do not validate reality. If we genuinely want to know whether a belief is true, we must strip it of its emotional context and ask, does this belief make sense? Is it logically coherent? Can it be tested? Ultimately, our reality should be based on the relevant evidence, not emotions. So, let's return to that original question: is the peace and joy I feel from God? To answer this honestly, we must step away from the glow of our emotions and step into the rational lab of scientific scrutiny. A God that cannot be substantiated cannot be cited as the cause of our emotions. Countless people across countless belief systems feel what could be confused as the presence of a God, and they draw completely different theological conclusions from it. That should humble us. We should not desperately reach for emotional certainty, but rather rationally seek out true understanding. If there is a truth worth finding, it won't be found behind the euphoric pageantry central to many religions. It won't require flickering candles and inspirational music. It will reveal itself in the daylight of reason, through the lens of inquiry, and in the clarity of open-minded reflection. If this conversation has sparked some questions, or even some discomfort, that's a good thing. Questioning is the first step toward clarity. Don't settle for easy answers or platitudes. Dive deeper, explore further, and demand evidence. Head over to Free of Faith to read the full article and join the discussion. Let's keep this conversation going, because the pursuit of truth doesn't stop at questioning. It's about finding answers that actually make sense. Thank you for tuning in to the Free of Faith podcast, where we expose the logical failings of faith and celebrate the clarity that comes with reason. Until next time, stay skeptical, stay curious, and remember, rationality always outperforms faith. Engage reality, and I'll see you soon.